All right, welcome Delfino Alvarez into the podcast room today. And Delfino is our master club builder and changing role a little bit, still building clubs, but now our head of custom.
Yo,
So,
buddy.
welcome.
What's up, man?
Tell us a little bit about you, tell us how you get on the golf industry, and then we'll move on to what you do.
Well, I got in the golf industry because a forklift went through my ankle and shattered all my soccer dreams. So, long story short, I had an accident, and then my old high school soccer coach wanted me to play golf, and because he knew how competitive I was, and that was something that drove me every day was just competition and I needed something. So he saw how depressed I was getting and all that. And I went to the driving range one day with him, and here we are 7 years later.
Cool. So 7 years in the golf, and
7 years. Yes, sir.
what's your handicap now?
I'm going to be, since you play golf with me a lot, I'm going to have to say the truth a little bit. So I'm going to go with probably around a 4 right now.
Okay.
It's just because of, I'm going to
Trying
be a
to
dad soon. So
trying to
I'm
get a
playing
shot.
that.
Yeah, a shot here on the front nine, shot on the back nine.
Just a
Something like
couple strokes would definitely help me at least maintain pace.
You're not getting any shots from me. So, and how long have you been building clubs now?
So I've been building probably now, I want to say 3 years. Yeah. It's been
Okay,
3 years.
cool.
Got here
And
3 years ago.
you enjoy that process?
Yeah, it was definitely different from when I used to work in the golf shop. So in the golf shop, it was day to day stuff and you knew exactly what was going on. And when it came to club building, I had no clue uh, what it was. I just figured you put some glue together, you put a shaft and tip, and that was it.
Yeah.
But ever since I started working here and everything, it just totally changed my perspective and how a golf club just performs.
So you thought maybe more of an assembly line.
I was definitely thinking it was just glue, cut it, and grip it, and then hand it off to a customer, and then you'd be good to go. But the process has totally just changed my mind and how everything I view,
Yeah.
basically, is what it is.
And as one of our top builders, we've watched you get down to like a fine art of being able to produce a really high quality golf club in a good amount of time. And I think that has kind of maybe pushed you towards what you're starting to do now.
Yeah, yeah. Initially, when I started working, I was kind of around, like, let's just say 200 clubs or whatever. And Jared kind of called me out on that my first couple months here. And I looked at this leaderboard that we have and I said, man, what? That's terrible. I'm so far behind all these guys. And I looked at Jared, he looked at me, and I said, I can be a top guy. Why not? And literally 6, 7 months later, that passion in me and wanting to be the best at something got me to where I was, which is one of the top guys essentially. But
And that's one of those processes. It's attention to detail and
yeah,
and consistency that gets you to do that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So the attention to detail is what kind of drove us to where we are now. Essentially, is because I had more of a focus in making sure it got done right and fast. That I wanted something that challenged me more when I got to that point.
and now we've come to we've just getting out of the hot season here in
Yeah.
Phoenix. You've spent the last few months trying to perfect a few styles of customization.
Yeah, so what we've been kind of working on more so than not is trying to just I want someone to be able to say I want to put a dragon on my wedge or I want to put a bear on my wedge or something that's totally different that we haven't seen before. Because we've seen custom clubs done in the past. I've seen numerous Instagrams of guys that are just doing things and putting random things on the clubs and they look cool and stuff like that. But to me, I always thought, how can I make that look a little bit better? So I kind of had my own ideas when it came to wanting to give someone the ability for them to tell me, hey, can you do this? And I'm going to say, I will try my best to see what I can do, and I can give you something.
So what are your main techniques to get these images onto wedges?
So what we started doing was we got a Cricut machine that helps me kind of build stencils and vinyl stickers that allow me to kind of sandblast, and we started messing around with airbrushing a little bit more. So we started getting.
Well, give us an example of both. Show us a sandblast.
So a sandblasted kind of wedge is something like that right there, right?
So you stencil out your animal, your spider in this case.
Yeah. So I kind of do the stencil. We do the sandblasting first, and then what I like to do is I like to put a coat on top of that kind of lets you not see the rust right away. Because the main concern for everyone when they see something sandblasted, and we've gotten this all the time on some of our TikTok and Instagram posts, is that, oh, it's going to rust, it's going to rust, it's going to rust. But not with some of the techniques and kind of chemicals that we've started to use. Because that wedge right there I did probably 2.5 months ago now, and there's still no rust.
Yeah.
So I don't anticipate any rust.
Unless you want it, right?
Unless you want it. So that's also another thing that we've kind of been working on. Is there's another chemical that we found that can help us make something look rust, and it's a work in progress. So definitely take a look at our TikTok because we'll have upcoming videos on some of those things as well.
Well, let's touch on the one club that we're actually doing a giveaway for right now. If you follow us on social media, you'll see the How to Enter, and basically Delfino has it here. It is in honor of the President's Cup.
USA, baby.
Consistently winning that format at the moment.
It's not consistency. It's just we're better.
So you actually made the cup. I remember when you did that first.
Yeah.
We sandblasted it. I think even in the video we showed online, it was just a raw metal, and now you've kind of rusted it up to try and get a little bit of a color.
Yeah. So I'm actually thinking that it's awesome. Because I can kind of concentrate where I want to rust the actual image. So, like if you can see in the cup right there, that was sandblasted first, and then we applied the chemical, and that's kind of what we're getting right there. So I think it looks great, and congratulations to our winner here soon in a couple of weeks.
You want to do a British one or something in honor of the losers? That's fine.
I will do a. Team USA winning the Ryder Cup for 2023. Yes, that one will be a giveaway.
Yeah.
So that one will actually be a lot more interesting to do. Mm-hmm. When I have to fit, how many times we've won that one.
You need a really small wedge for that then. Show us some of the airbrush that you've been doing as well. This one at the front right here. It's got your.
Oh yeah, so this one I did for my man J Rod, and he gave me a wedge and he said Arizona theme. And I said, well, I hate snakes. I'm scared of snakes. But let's put a snake on there.
There's plenty of them out here.
There's plenty of them out here. Yo, absolutely. Yeah, there was one when I was walking my dog the other day. I ran into one. It's some scary stuff. But I think that image, the wedge just looks great.
And all of the stamps around it, they're custom stamps for, Arizona. You got the cactus.
Yeah, we got the little cactuses in there. I wanted to put the little cactus right there for the eye to represent. And then we did the blue and the gold that represent the Arizona flag and star. So that one came out. I love it. If Jared doesn't like it, I'll take it.
And the next one I like. Well, actually, you know what? Show off some of the custom stamps you got there on that Vokey in the middle there.
Oh, yeah. So this is also some of the stuff that we're offering now. And everything will be made available online for you guys to see. We'll try to definitely post up some more things. So definitely keep a lookout for our website because we have some awesome changes coming to it. And
we're going to do a gallery. And and if you like anything you look at here, we're going to create a way for you to basically request some pricing. And Delfino will be your guy, and he'll come up with a quote for you. So you can do your wedges as customers as we possibly can.
Yeah. And then definitely my email will be on there. So if there's even your own ideas that you guys may have and you don't see it on there, definitely shoot me an email and we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like I said, one thing that we're trying to do moving forward is we're trying to not necessarily just make our own things come to life, but I want to make your own designs, your own ideas, anything that you may have. I want your wedge to be your wedge. I want that to feel.
And it's not just wedges.
That's what it is.
You can do it on certain other clubs too, right?
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So this is one that my man Cap loves.
I think the dot system. Maybe show us that one on the. Show us the fish on the back there.
He called it a fish, but it's a shark.
It's a shark. Okay, it's not a fish.
That's not a fish. It's a type of fish.
And then bring the other one up here, the spooky season one. Oh, consider we're in October now, so
yeah. So October, my favorite season.
So I think this is good for two reasons. A, it looks really cool. But B, it really makes Del work for it. You know, he's got to stamp that way more time than he does just a normal.
That is a time-consuming project, but trust me, when I see the end product, I am so happy that I did it.
Kind of like a tattoo on a wedge.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely one of those where you have to see what you're doing. You have to really focus on making sure you don't go too far over, because if you make one of those just any thicker than all the other ones, then the whole thing just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
So,
and one last thing that you've got here is the vinyl. We haven't showed anything with the vinyl yet, right?
No.
Is the Avengers one a vinyl?
Yes. So that right there is actually a blue vinyl sticker. You can barely see it now because it's kind of, I've sprayed it with a few things to make it blend in, and I'm very, very happy with this because I've had this thing for about 6 weeks, and I've scrubbed it. I've put it into the little club cleaners that we have at all the golf courses and stuff, and nothing really has happened to it a whole lot.
And that's part of it. Some of this is trial and error for us right now. We're figuring out,
Yeah.
Durability of these things. But essentially that is stuck onto that golf club. It's sealed onto that golf club.
Mm-hmm.
And it will hold for a period of time. But, like any golf club there, you get smashed into the ground and sand and all those kind of things.
Yeah, so I've made quite a few now for some of our coworkers here, and I've given them some, and these guys play a lot of golf, and I mean, I've seen the results, and I'm very happy with what's happening with it. I feel like it'll definitely last on there quite a while. I mean, up to this point, unless you really want it to come off, you get a blade out or you get something to scratch it off. That's the only way I see it actually coming off. If you really want that thing to come off, it'll come off.
Which is nice.
Yeah, sometimes you might hate it, and then just come back and we can get another one for you. So definitely is a lot of stuff that we're working on. There's a few things that we've kind of been looking for. So here's some more, just kind of trying to make everyone see, there's more things that we can do to the golf club to definitely personalize it just for you. So
let's touch on something that isn't here right now. I mean, you can see it on some wedges, but it's not done by us, which is grinding.
Mm-hmm.
So we're obviously going to offer soul grinds as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just, helping other people understand as a club builder, give them some sort of concept of, some of the constraints behind that.
So sometimes if you grind too much off of a wedge, then the CG is going to change a lot. And back in the day, and this is back in the day for me just because I'm new to the whole grinding thing, was they would add tungsten and stuff like that. But now we don't necessarily have to do that anymore, just because of the fact that we're only going to take 3 to 4 grams off. And most manufacturers are giving us these wedges 6-7 grams heavier than what we would want them to be, because every time we build something, we want to make sure that the swing weight, is hit. And for a majority of the time, we're having to drill out 5-6 grams from sand wedges, and sometimes we have to add wedges or add weight just to a lob wedge. So in the last couple months or so, SM9s have been really easy to work with, really easy to grind, and kind of and making sure that the CG doesn't get moved around a whole lot.
So really, you're just basically scalping the sole a little bit, creating the shape that a player wants, not ripping too much material out. If a guy wants something with lots of material out, you have to get basically a heavy wedge from the beginning. I mean, maybe from a different manufacturer, and then
preferably a heavier wedge will definitely help us just make it more for that player, which is something that we're actually working on now too. So we'll bring out some of that later on to keep an eye out for our TikTok and our Instagram and our website, because we'll be doing some specialty grinding events, and those will be very, very fun.
That'll be fun. A live TikTok for something new grinding a wedge. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'll be very unique. It'll be attention to detail for that specific player. We'll go out there and we'll just focus on one thing, and that's making sure each wedge is prepped and ready just for you.
Perfect. Well, look, keep an eye out for Del. Take a look at our website. Follow us on TikTok, and watch all of our custom designs as they come to life. If you got any questions, delfino.alvarez@coolclubs.com. And
Yes, sir.
stay in touch.
Absolutely, man. Loved
Thanks.
it. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Del.